So, friends, the story that I'm going to tell you today, the leadership story that I'm going to narrate to you today, that is titled as Good Luck or Bad Luck. There was an old man who used to live in a village close to mountains, and the only property that that old man had was a beautiful horse. Once, what happened that the only horse that the old man owned ran into the jungle. Now, once the horse had run into the jungle, all the villagers they came to old man's house to console with him for the loss that he has just incurred. Now, once the villagers they reached the old man's place, they stood in front of him in his veranda or something, and they said that we are so very sorry to hear that your only horse had run into the jungle. What a bad luck. When the villagers said, "What a bad luck," old man looked into the heavens and then he looked into the eyes of the villagers and said, "Bad luck or good luck, who knows?" Now, listening to this, the villagers had some temperament. They didn't like it. They just thought that we have come here to the old man to console with him on the loss that he has just received. And look what he is saying. So, talking bad about the old man, the villagers retraced their steps and went back to their homes. Now, it was only 2-3 days later that the news spread in the village that the old man's horse had come back. And to top everything else was that not only the old man's horse came back, but the horse had also brought back with it some 7 wild horses. Now the news had run and spread into the jungle like the wildfire. Everybody was glad on listening to this news and the magical turn that the old man's grace had just taken. They rushed back to the old man's house as one, and they reached in front of the old man and they were so glad. They went to the old man and they said that what a good luck, what a great good luck. Not only your own horse came back, but also it brought some 7 wild horses. You're a rich man now. When the old man heard the villagers, no expressions on his face changed. He looked into the skies the way he did the last time. Then he looked into the eyes of the villagers the way he did the last time. And he said, "Good luck or bad luck, who knows?" Now, when the villagers heard this from the old man, once again, there was no expression that suited their faces. The only thing that they felt they could do was to run away from there. And vowing to themselves that they would never come back to the old man's house again. It was only 7 or 6 days after the old man has received 8 horses at his house that the old man's only son, he felt like riding the horse. And guess what? He selected a wild horse to ride on. Now the young man, when he rode the wild horse just brought him down like anything, and the young man broke his leg with the fall. So the moment the young man broke his leg with the fall, again the news of this accident spread into the village like anything. The villagers counseled again with one another, and they thought that it was okay if they would never want to go to the old man's house to congratulate him for any good thing. But since it was a sad incident, an accident that had happened to him and to his son, so it was appropriate to go and console old man on the loss of his son's leg. So once again, like one voice, they went back to the old man's house, stood in front of the old man, and said, "What a bad luck that your only son had broken his leg." They were awestruck to see that there was no change of expression on the old man's face. He again looked into the heavens once, turned his face towards the villagers, and said, "Bad luck or good luck, who knows?" Once again, the villagers, they expiated on their decision to come to the old man's house to console for the broken leg of his son. And again they vowed never to come back to his house. But it was only a week later that the king's soldiers, they raided into the village and they started abducting the young boys of the village to induct them into the king's army by force, because they were expecting a war with the neighboring country. Now, everybody in the village lost his the young boys that they had, except one boy in the village. And guess what? It was the old man's only son, who recently had broken his leg falling off the back of the wild horse. Now, again, the news had reached the villagers, as village is always a small place, so the news of anything travels very fast from one house or one end of the village to the other end. So everybody again reached the old man's house to partially tell him how lucky he was, and also to tell him how great a bad luck that they had met, that their sons were gone. But again, there was no change of expression in the old man's expression. He again looked into the heavens and then again looked into the eyes of the villagers and said, "Good luck or bad luck, who knows?" Muted them. So the way you see in this window, everybody looks different. What? Everybody looks different. The second different thing is that everybody has got different parents, except those who are siblings here in this class, right? Except for those. Everybody's parents are different, everybody's belongings are different, everybody's background is different. And if we may say, everybody is gifted differently by God. Everybody is gifted differently by God. Everybody is given a different gift by God. So one stands that there is a possibility that old man was gifted with this virtue from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that no matter something big happens to him, whether that happening of the big thing is a gain or a loss, whatever is happening in his life, whether it is a gain or a loss, whether he is gaining something as a gift or he is losing something, still he would act patiently. He would act patiently. He would accept it, that whatever is happening, because Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir, that God is overpowering on everything. So if the bad is happening to me, still Allah is overpowering on that bad, and that some coming times Allah may overpower, Allah is overpowering, Allah may overpower that bad thing for me. Allah is overpowering, bete. But if Allah has given you the power to withstand the pressure of that loss that is happening in your life, you accept it patiently because you are gifted from God, because you are gifted from God, that you can bear it. And even in the loss and pain, you keep your faith intact in Allah. You keep your faith intact in Allah, that God willing, these bad days will be over soon. When He wills, this distraction, this loss in my life will be over very soon. Right? So your faith in Allah and your patience in your personality gave you the strength to withstand the shock that may emerge from the loss that you hit in your life. Then comes the second thing. Now that second thing is that you are gaining something. You're gaining something, some benefit, some progress, some gain is coming your way. So since you are gifted from Allah, that you can withstand even the bad things, even the accidents in your life, so such a person cannot be over elated at the small gains that he makes in his life. This person considers that no loss of life is bigger, no gain and benefit of life is bigger. Rather, he thinks that this particular life is not bigger. He always considers that Allah is the biggest, and the life in the hereafter, the life that starts after my death is bigger than this life when I get any benefit in this life. And it does not even suit me to be over dejected and sad on the loss of things, because Allah sees me all the time. If I become over dejected on the loss of things in this life, may Allah be displeased with you. Allah gets displeased with you. Why? Because at that particular time, Allah thinks that this man of mine considers that this musibat, this danger, this loss that has befallen on him is bigger than his belief in me, right? So when all these things are combined together, all these things, all these virtues, all these qualities, all these beliefs, when they are combined together, the man becomes quite patient, and his patience makes him courageous enough, brave enough, thankful enough to accept patiently whatever good may be happening to him and whatever bad may be happening to him. Understand? Now, that is only one part of the answer. Suppose that a man, I am not gifted by Allah with the quality of patience, and gratitude. Patience on things that are happening bad in my life, and gratitude, thankfulness on the things that are the good things happening in my life. If I do not have those things with me, those qualities with me, consider for a minute that if Allah has not bestowed or gifted me these qualities, what should I do? What should I do that? So first of all, I am in charge of all these things. I need to consider myself bigger than these things. If this thing goes away, I can buy a new one if I have money in my pocket. If I lose this thing and I have money in my pocket, maybe I will not be worried about losing it after losing it. Okay? Because I have money in my pocket, I will replace it with a new remote control. Now consider the situation. I lose it, but I do not have extra money in my pocket. Means I cannot buy it. Now I need to understand, if I do not even buy this thing, or if I cannot even buy this thing, the thing to understand is, can I live without it or not? Can I still be living my life without switching on the LCD, or I cannot? Now this is the point that you have to understand, beta, that no matter what, the life that Allah has given you is more precious. The life that Allah has given you. Why? Because all these things, they add values to your lives, some kind of value to your life. And when things are adding value, it means what? Some things are cheaper and some things are more expensive, right? But what about life? Life itself, the life that you are living. We are living this life. Allah has gifted many things that we are enjoying to help add more value to our life, to make our life even more comfortable, to make our life even more beautiful, right? But life in itself has its own beauty. Life in itself has its own beauty. Like, let me ask some questions. From life is progressing, when the life is progressing, Mahat's choice in his life for the toys is changing. So we need to understand the fact that the need for the things in life keep changing, but the need for life itself does not change. So that should give us some patience, some gift of patience, that if I have lost something, I need to understand that I still have the biggest blessing available to me, and that is my life itself. Other things are also the gifts of Allah, but life itself is the biggest gift of Allah that Allah has given us. So when Allah has given us, and Allah has still contained and curtailed the biggest gift of life itself with us, we should worry less about other things. For you is never fake. The reality of things is what? That they either give you harm or they give you the benefit. So anything that can harm you, that can trouble you, is not fake. Anything that can give you benefit is not fake, right? So the sequence in this story, the way it is made, some things, even the real things in life are not like, consider there is a man on the planet Earth who is not helping out anybody else. Now I ask you question, everybody, is that man real or fake? Let me give you one last explanation to this story. I hope nobody will forget this story, right? I want Mahat to please sit down and understand and listen to what I'm saying now. One thing about this story. Bete, the set of the story tells us that the life can be very short or the life can be very long. We do not know, but it is a mystery. It is a mystery. We cannot say anything about life for sure. There is only one thing about life we can say for sure, and what is that thing? That whatever happens in our lives, whether it is good or whether it is bad, Allah is there. Allah is there, and Allah is all powering, and Allah has a great control on everything. Allah has the greatest control on everything. So when Allah has the greatest control holding in His hand, why should I be worried about anything? I, as a man created by Him, should always keep my faith firm in Him. Keep my faith firm in Him. Even we need to understand and think that the death that in the end comes to us from Allah, even the death is a blessing from Him. Even the death is a blessing from Him. So if we raise ourselves to the understanding of such a pedestal, that even the death that comes to us from Him, no loss will worry us in this life. We will just be prepared about everything. We will just be prepared about everything. And we, in near future, if we start practicing it, in near future, we will find ourselves turning and tuning into such fine people who will be thankful to the Lord Almighty, no matter good happens to us or no matter bad happens to us. So in short, the leadership value that we have learned today is what? That a man should always be looking towards Allah, should be ready for anything. It may be a loss or a gain, and he should be ready for it. He should not be surprised with everything, and he should keep his firm belief in Allah that whatever happens, it is going to be turned out to be good in the longer run. Whatever is happening bad now may be pinching me, but it may be a caressing thing for me if Allah wills in the near future. If Allah wills, He has the power to turn everything bad that is happening in my life into everything good. Right? Now, I have ended my explanation on this story. Since we have limited time in the class, we may even extend our discussion tomorrow for this question. But I gave you one example. I just gave you one way. If you're not inborn with that quality of patience, so I gave you an instruction how you can develop that. I told you that.
Yeah, I was asking about that.
You were asking about
These steps or these practice.
Yeah.
What?
So today I just gave you one practice step. What is that? Who is more important, this glass or myself?
Definitely.
Okay, if this is a common glass, if this is a common glass, it may be having a value of some 70 rupees or maybe 100 rupees, right? This glass will become more important for me if this glass is imported from England or America. Getting my point? This glass will become even more important from me if this is sent from America or England from some of my relatives, or from some very dear friend. Now we need to understand that things change their values and they become more expensive in themselves when they have an association established with us, with the ones who are near to us and with the ones who are dear to us. But we still have to think and we still have to understand the fact that things are just things, no matter what things they are. Now, when things are compared to your own selves, this is where things become nothings. Now, no matter a glass breaks, no matter a window breaks, no matter, your car breaks, no matter what breaks. But if it is something other than your life, the biggest blessing given to you from God, from your Lord above, you still can bear the loss. Why? Because you still have got the bigger blessing intact with you, and that bigger blessing is life in itself. So dear friends and fellows and students, the point that I want to make through this is something that we call patience, something that we call forbearance, something that we call understanding, something that we call the capacity to withstand the challenges that the losses incur and haul on you. You can bear all those losses if you understand the fact that your life, the blessing of life, is bigger than everything given to you in this life. So if Allah has kept your life intact with you, be thankful to Him and keep a firm belief that these small good lucks and these small bad lucks, they are nothing. They are just some smaller milestones that are set there in your lives. Just keep passing them. Keep thanking Allah and keep praying to Him that be it small, be it large, whatever the challenge that comes your way, you will withstand the pressure. You will uphold your head into all challenges, and you will just keep marching forward, saying and feeling and believing that the giver is there and he can give you anything. He can replace you with anything. Thank you very much for today.